Money in the Bank is returning to Chicago this year in the Allstate Arena, and I decided to look back on one of the greatest pay-per-views WWE has ever produced, and that took place in the same arena, in the Allstate Arena in Chicago, and that was the 2011 Money in the Bank pay-per-view that featured CM Punk winning the WWE Championship, and which I believe was the highlight of CM Punk's wrestling career, the greatest moment he's had in his wrestling career, and he's also had the greatest moment of his legal career this year, and I think or this week, and I think he hopes to at least have the best moment of his MMA career, if you call it a career, this coming Saturday when he fights Mike Jackson at UFC 225 in Chicago. So, Punk's been in the news lately. This is the Chicago Money in the Bank coming back to Chicago. I'm sure the crowd will remember this pay-per-view. And I decided to give this show a review. Just an amazing pay-per-view. WWE was really hot in this period because, or not really WWE, it was just CM Punk, because of the pipe bomb he cut in like a few weeks before that. Everything was going crazy. People didn't know what to expect. I mean, there was the whole suspense. Is Punk going to stay? Is he going to go with his contract up? The more that we built this up, the more it seemed like they were going to keep him because, I mean, I don't think they'd be putting that much energy into a guy who's going to leave and building it up this much. So, this was a great show, and the show opens up with the video package. With this TikTok video package, CM Punk's contract expires at midnight, and once he wins the title from John Cena, if he does, he'll leave with the title. So that's how they built it up, and that was a really cool video package to start. The Money in the Bank theme song they use every year is also the theme song of a WWE Hall of Famer. I'll let you guess who it is. The commentary was absolutely horrific for the show, and that hurts the show a bit. All three guys were terrible. JR was great, not him, but Booker T, Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, all of them are just horrible. All of them are horrible together. No chemistry, just terrible. The show starts off with the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match. This was a great match. Cara comes out first. Man, they were pushing him so hard. He was a major bust for them. Wade Barrett came out with that terrible music. Another terrible theme music was Justin Gabriel's. Man, they pushed that guy. They really wanted to make him a star, and he was another flop. Sheamus came out next, and he felt like such a bigger star back then. This was before his big babyface turn. They were pushing him heavy. I guess actually, when I think his old theme music was way better. Then came out Cody Rhodes. This was when he was wearing the hoodie because he didn't want people to see his face and stuff. Cody's he's much better off right now. Heath Slater came out. Man, he's a complete jobber. It's like all these Nexus guys were flops. Then, of course, the one Nexus guy who got kicked out of the group, one became one of the biggest stars the company's had recently, and that's Daniel Bryan. Big pop here in Chicago. This was way before. Daniel Bryan was barely past a jobber at this point in his career. And the last guy that come out was Kane, who was always in these stupid ladder matches, just giving him a spot on the roster or something to do. They had just a great match, a lot of crazy spots. It got really hot. The match slowed down a bit and near the end, but then it got really good again. Some of the crazy parts were you had a series of dives, you had a suicide dive, you had a senton to the outside, you had a crossbody, you had a corkscrew. Sin Cara hit Daniel Bryan with this kind of superplex looking move, but without hooking the arms. That was really cool looking. He had Sheamus powerbombing Sin Cara through the ladder on the outside. Sin Cara, he was botching everything in this match, but that spot looked cool even though he oversold it a bit. You had a cool LOD tribute with hitting the Legion of Doom's finisher. That looked cool. He had this thing when they swung Heath Slater from the ladder to the outside. That looked like they botched it pretty bad. One of the coolest spots was Justin Gabriel hitting the 450 splash onto Kane with very, very little space. And of course, the ending of the match was awesome, in which Daniel Bryan kicks Wade Barrett off the ladder, gets Money in the Bank, and he sold it great. And Daniel Bryan was awesome here. And throughout the whole match, you had Michael Cole calling him a nerd, making fun of him, referencing Revenge of the Nerds over and over again. It was pretty annoying, but Daniel Bryan winning was great. This was the beginning of a turning point of his career in which he became a major star. He won the title after this, and he got squashed by Sheamus at WrestleMania, but then the fans got him over with the fans. The fans were pissed off. He got majorly over. He did tag team with Kane for a while, and then eventually he got that big singles run with the Authority, and he won the main event of WrestleMania 30. So this was really the turning point of his career, and a really, really enjoyable match. A long ladder match where I really liked it a lot. Then he had this segment with Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. He's being interviewed and he couldn't assign CM Punk. It was fine. This felt like a bigger show. Whenever you have Vince McMahon involved, it feels like a much bigger show. After they showed Vince McMahon arriving, they went to the women's title match, the Divas title match. I don't even know what it was called at that point. You had Brie Bella and Kelly Kelly. Kelly Kelly is without question the worst champion of all time. Pushed 100,000% based on her looks. She was accompanied by Heath Torres. Oh my god, this match was absolutely horrific. And it had Nikki there with Brie. The Bellas have definitely improved a lot, but this tells you why people hate the hated the Divas division. It was a complete joke. Thank God we're past there. This match was fucking garbage. It was absolutely horrific. It shows you how far the women have come. It makes you appreciate today's woman, even though the matches might not be that great. Where it was before, it's just, wow. This was fucking horrible. This was a horrible match. Now, moving on. So after that disgrace was over, they went to Mark Henry and the Big Show, and they did this cool video segment in which Mark Henry was just destroying him. So it was Mark Henry's Hall of Pain major push when he won the title. He threw Big Show through the cage, speared him through the backstage, and there's that one, through the backstage, but there was that one spot with Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre almost died. I started off the stage. That was fucking crazy. Anyway, match was quick. It was a quick big man match. Henry won. Big Show got a lot of offense, but the match was really quick. So it's the finishers, and that's how I think big man matches should go, really quick. And it was fine. And after the match, he did a big injury angle, and Henry, puts Big Show's ankle in between a chair, and does a splash off the top off the middle rope, and breaks Big Show's ankle. Again, this was Henry's definitely his highlight of his career, this whole summer of 2011 when he won the title, or this whole Hall of Pain tour. This was that's definitely his best part of his career. Then we went to Vince McMahon backstage with John Laurinaitis and WWE attorney, that's who they said the third guy was, interviewing about CM Punk, and we threatened to fire John Cena, which no one believed. Then after that, we go to the fourth Money in the Bank, the fourth match, which was the second Money in the Bank, the Raw Money in the Bank. This ladder match was a lot more dangerous than the first one. Alberto Del Rio was the first one to come out. He was the heavy favorite, and he won. Everyone knew he was probably going to win. Then Kofi Kingston came out. This was a period in his career when he was doing nothing before they started New Day. After that, Jack Swagger came out, which was coming off that worst title reign of all time last year before Jinder Mahal. Then you had Evan Bourne coming out, who was on fire at this point. Evan Bourne was just doing all these crazy spots. R-Truth came out next, and man, he was absolutely hilarious at this point. The whole little Jimmy stuff, I just thought he was hilarious. Alex Rawley came out, who was getting a big push at this time before he pissed off John Cena. And then you had The Miz coming out, who was definitely stale at this point. And then the final guy out was Rey Mysterio. And what you had was everyone armed themselves with ladders to start the match, so everyone had the ladder. And some of the cool spots in this match were, and at first they all went after Del Rio, then they all buried him with the ladders they had, which was actually a good spot. You had more dives, and then the best part of there was one cool spot on Rey Mysterio, Kofi and Bourne are holding up a miniature ladder, and Rey jumped on and did his finisher to Swagger. And the coolest spot for sure was Evan Bourne doing the shooting star press from the top of the ladder on the outside, taking everybody out. That was great. The nastiest part was when Miz took this nasty fall from when he was hanging from the top of the briefcase. It looked like he completely tore his ACL. I don't know how he was completely okay. It looked nasty. He had Rey Mysterio doing a whole bunch of different versions of the 619 within the ladders. So he had some botches. He had some guys out of position a bit. But another cool spot was when he had all everyone in the match except the Miz, who was at this point, but they were all on top of the ladders fighting for the briefcase. That was a really cool visual. All of them fell off the ladder in different ways, but then at the end he had Kofi Kingston and Jack Swagger, and the ladder tipped over. It looked like both of them died. That was nasty. You had The Miz making this heroic babyface comeback, but then Rey Mysterio cuts him off and the crowd turns on Rey. I thought the ending was great, and then Del Rio unmasks Mysterio, and after he unmasks him, Ray has to cover his face, and then his ladder crashes into Del Rio, and all the ladders are set up, and it's like this huge like domino collapse, which looked really cool. Then Del Rio gets the briefcase. This match was great. So Del Rio wins. Great match, very dangerous, a lot more dangerous than the first match. You can go depend which one's better. If you're more into spots, you like this one. If you're more into just, I guess, storytelling, maybe the first one's better. But another great ladder match. So then we go to World Heavyweight Championship, Randy Orton and Christian. So in this title match, it was all. It's worth noting John Cena and Randy Orton both lost their titles on the same show, and in this match, the stipulation was if Orton got himself disqualified, he'd lose the belt. Orton had beaten Christian 3 straight times. He beat him on SmackDown to win the title, which pissed everyone off. And I think he beat him 2 more times on pay-per-view, and they were all great matches. And they had another really good match here, even though it was easily their weakest, mostly due to the finish. But the match itself, again, really, really good match. Christian wins the title by disqualification. He spits in Orton's face, and it was absolutely disgusting how he did it. He spit in his face, and like the spit went into Orton's mouth. It was fucking gross. Oh man, it was just sick. And Orton then beats the shit out of Christian. The crowd was really into this. I mean, the Chicago crowd all night was awesome. They were cheering for CM Punk in 7 matches. This crowd was probably the hottest crowd WWE's ever had for a pay-per-view. They were awesome. And I wish you can do this thing where the commentary was so fucking terrible. I wish there was a feature in which you can turn the commentary off and just listen to the fans. They should do that every week. Just get rid of commentary. We can just listen to the fans talk and listen to the fans chant. That would have been awesome in Chicago. Just let's hear them all night. And in this match, again, they had a really good match. The low blow by Orton gets himself disqualified, and then after match, he beats the living fuck out of Christian, gives him an RKO onto the announce table, doesn't break, and does it again, doesn't break again. He looked pissed off, and the fans started cheering for Orton at the end, even though they were booing up the first. But Christian wins the title, and this was his only world title run of his career. He had a lot of momentum here. I mean, his second world title run. His first one lasted like 2 days. This was after Edge was retired, so they were pushing Christian a bit in the summer here, and this was like the furthest he went in terms of how big of a push he went in his career. And then the main event. I really liked the video package for the main event, and then when CM Punk comes out, the fans were chanting CM Punk before his music hits, and when his music hits, I mean, you can hear the roof blow off the building. They are fucking going crazy. It's one of the biggest reactions in the WWE's ever had for a wrestler. They are going nuts for this guy. It's his hometown. He's walking out with the belt if he wins. They want him to win badly. This crowd was incredible for this match. This crowd made this match even better, and the match was already excellent. They were going crazy, and they despised everything John Cena did. He didn't even do the salute. They booed John Cena. This crowd reminds me of the ECW crowd from One Night Stand of 2006. And they're doing all the great chants. You can't wrestle. You still suck. We didn't get same old shit, but we got all the great chants, all the trolling chants, chanting Cena sucks. John Cena was awesome in this match. He looked like he didn't get tired, but CM Punk was absolutely incredible. He gave the performance of his career. And going back before the match started, I mean, CM Punk has this awesome T-shirt, one of the best T-shirts WWE has ever produced. And I love how in the beginning he just sits in the middle of the ring and he just lets the fans go crazy. It was just an awesome visual. It's like you could have had him sit there for another 10 minutes before the match started. And another thing that got the fans really over, probably the second most over guy on the show, was someone in the crowd by the name of Colt Cabana. You might have heard of him. He was at the show in the front row. The fans were going nuts for Cabana. Punk mentioned him a lot during the build-up to this match, and he was pissed off how he got fired. Obviously, him and Cabana just beat Dr. Aman yesterday in court, so I'm sure WWE does not look back fondly on this pay-per-view at all. For the actual match, it was excellent. Already they chant "You can't wrestle." There's also funny when they chant "Let's go Cena" and they chant "Cena sucks." Instead, they chant CM Punk because Punk mentioned that in a promo. The announcers are just fucking annoying as hell in this match. It's fucking brutal how much they suck. The match had some sloppiness, but it was fine because these guys are wrestling for so long. You can't expect them to execute the match perfectly, so it'll fit into the match. They do the boo and yeah spot. Boo for Cena, yeah for Punk. Match was, again, a great match, really long. It starts to really take to a whole new level near the last part of the match. The third act part of the match, because this was such a long match. One of my favorite spots is when Cena goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle, goes for the you can't see me, and then Punk kicks him in the head. That was great. And then the match picks up. Punk hit the suicide dive, and they're just pulling out moves after moves that you don't usually see them pull off. They're kicking out, and they're not hitting their finisher. It's not like a WWE main event when they just kick out of each other's finishers for 20 minutes. They're doing different moves, and then the finishers start to happen. One of the coolest parts, without one of the finishers, when John Cena has CM Punk and STF, and then Punk reversed into an Anaconda Vice. Really cool transition. You had Cena hitting a leg drop from the top while Punk was about to get up, which looked sick. CM Punk kicks out of 2 AAs. I think the story of the match, I mean, John Cena worked as the heel, the way he was working. He got most of the offense. It was like CM Punk had so much heart, and the ending was great. McMahon and LRMania come out. He did distract Punk. Cena puts him in a submission, and they're teasing, ring the bell like, the 97 Survivor Series, the Montreal Screwjob. But it backfires. Cena goes out of the ring, punches LRMania in the face, then goes back in the ring and gets caught with the GTS. Punk hits it. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk's the WWE champion. And after Punk wins, the crowd was just going crazy. They're going ape shit. They're just blowing the roof off the building. Such a great moment. Vince calls for Del Rio. And I think the original plan for the pay-per-view was for Del Rio to cash in and beat Punk. But Del Rio, he gets Del Rio to come in. But before Del Rio can cash in, Punk kicks him right in the head, which Cole said it was a right hand. CM Punk, after he hits Del Rio, he escapes into the WWE crowd. He blows Vince McMahon a kiss, which was great. He just blew him a kiss, walked right out of the crowd, and walked up the stairs. Celebrates with the fans, like escapes out of Chicago as champion, and it looks like he left the WWE and he's still champion. Just an amazing ending, the best ending you could have hoped for. Just an awesome ending, and this show made CM Punk a major superstar. This is what got him to a whole new level. This made him a top guy. It was the pipe bomb and then this show. Those two events. Those are the two biggest events of his career. The greatest promo of his career and the best match of his career was this show. Dave Meltzer gave this a 5-star match. That match was excellent. The show was excellent. The ending was excellent. How WWE capitalized on it, you can, I don't know. I thought they mishandled it. They didn't. At first, I thought the Punk, they did a cash in the next month, and I thought they could have done a better job with the storyline. But then Punk got the big title reign, 434 days. But then we all know he walked out, and he recently beat WWE along with Colt Cabana in a lawsuit. So CM Punk's done at wrestling, and I think this is those two events are what he will be known for. So, Money in the Bank 2011 was just an amazing pay-per-view, an incredible show, and I still don't think WWE has produced a better show in 7 years, than that show. Like, they still haven't produced a show that's been better. This Money in the Bank 2011 was an excellent pay-per-view.